God told you to do something and you're certain that it's God, and you've been obedient, like you've been doing it, but all of a sudden it seems like your life has been falling apart. Like nothing is making sense. Everywhere you turn, you are faced with an obstacle, a challenge, or an opposition from people and places that you possibly didn't anticipate. And you started wondering, did God really tell me? Did I really hear from God? Is it time to throw in the towel and quit? Before you make a decision, let me tell you a story. Ezra 1. In comes King Cyrus. He takes over and he sends a letter to the children of Israel who were exiled at this point, and he says, you can come rebuild your temple in Jerusalem. Go to Jerusalem, rebuild your temple. And so a group of them decided they were going to go to Jerusalem and rebuild, and they went and they started the process. The New Living Translation described the people who came to them as local enemies. And it said they came and they said to the Israelites, let us help you rebuild. Like, we understand your mission. We understand what you're about. We know your God. We've made sacrifices to this God, so we are qualified to help. Let us help. And they said no. And the people were offended. They were so offended that they started wreaking havoc. They started bribing officials. They started what is tantamount to a present-day lobby effort against the Israelites. And it was no longer local. It became political, and it was government-led, and it continued for years. But the children of Israel, they kept building. They kept doing the little or the lot that they could do. But they kept building. And so this went on for about 17 years. It started with King Cyrus, then it got to King Xerxes, and then King Artaxerxes came in, and they were still building. And the people were not satisfied because their ultimate goal was to stop the building of the temple. And so they wrote a letter to King Artaxerxes. And they said to him, these people are troubled. Do you not know who they are? They cannot be allowed to complete the temple, because if they did, they would stop paying you taxes and it would affect your bottom line. King, you can't allow that to happen. And so King Artaxerxes checked the record and he's like, yeah, they've not been the best with the kings before, so let's cease the work. And so a military operation was launched, and the temple, the rebuilding of the temple, ceased. That cessation lasted for about 15 or 16 years. At this point, King Artaxerxes had left, and it was no King Darius. But Zachariah and Haggai, who were Israelites, they decided enough is enough. We've waited for too long. We're going to rebuild based on the order that we got from Cyrus. And so they started rebuilding. Some of the governors heard, and they came and they're like, who told you you could be rebuilding? Who gave you permission? They're like, Cyrus did. And they said, we need the name of whoever is in charge here, all the names. And they're like, no, we're not giving you any information. Go to your king. And when you go to your king while you're at it, tell him to check the record, and he will see that we're not just doing this because we have nothing else to do. We were purposed to do this. We were commissioned to do this. So they sent a letter, and they lambasted, and they did what they needed to do, but they told King Darius to check the record, as they said. And King Darius had to dig long and hard, but he found the record, and he saw the decree. King Darius sent back a letter, and he said, do not interfere with those people. Let them build, because they were given a decree and an order to build. Let them build. And as a matter of fact, you are going to pay for it. Whatever they need, you will pay for from the taxes. You will give them every help they need, and anyone who stands in their way, your ending has been particularly planned. Don't do it. Here are some takeaways for you from that story. 1. When God gives you a mission, when God commissions you to do something, sometimes the people closest to you will not understand it. Sometimes the people closest to you will be the ones who give you the most opposition. Build anyway. Lesson number 2. In the same way that the people wrote to Artaxerxes and he told them about their past, how they were troubled, sometimes when God gives you a mission, others around you will see your past and think it disqualifies you from the work that God has called you to do. But build anyway. Lesson number 3, probably should have been number 2. But when you're about God's business, when God gives you a particular thing to do, not everyone who comes and says they understand. Not everyone who says they know this God that you serve and they understand your mission and want to partner with you, you should say yes to. Sometimes you have to say no. And it may hurt feelings, it may ruffle feathers, they may become your enemy. Build anyway. And finally, remember who sent you. In the same way when the people started rebuilding and they approached them and they said, who gave you permission? Who told you you could rebuild? And they said, Cyrus did. Remember who sent you. And remember, the God that sent you is not going to abort mission. The God that sent you is not going to abandon you when things get rough. The God that sent you is faithful to finish what he started in you and with you. So, keep building, keep creating, keep going in the direction that God has asked you to do.